Welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg.
And I'm Kerri. We love creating beautiful, functional spaces and living healthy, vibrant lives. So join us as we chat about simple, practical ways to take care of your body, mind, and your home. Whether it's fitness tips, home decor ideas, or navigating those big life moments, we're here to share what works for us and what doesn't, with some encouragement along the way.
Let's redesign this life together, one step, one room, and one habit at a time.
Hello and welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. My name's Kerri and I am with my delightful friend Meg here today, and we are excited to have this conversation with you. But first, before we get going, how are things over there, Meg?
Well, I'm so excited to have our conversation. Things are good here, Kerri. I'm excited for the summer and doing all of our summer bucket list things and moving on to kind of some new topics and maybe a new season.
Yeah, for sure. I can't believe we're into the middle of July already. I just feel like our summer plans a little bit had to slow down because our puppy dog, I think I mentioned previously, he wasn't feeling very well and now he's lost his vision. And so it's meant a little bit changing some of our plans. We used to
I
take
would
him
imagine.
hiking and that kind of stuff. And we're finding that we're sticking a little closer to home than we normally do, which is okay too. It's just a little bit different. So, but I do think that today's conversation is timely because at Redesigning Health and Home, we're always looking for ways to elevate our life, bring more joy to our lives. Just, how do we tweak things to make our lives a little bit more meaningful? And so we were chatting about that, and we decided maybe a great way to go about it was to reach out to some of our listeners and ask them, what joyful rituals do you have? Do you do regularly that brings joy or peace or calm or whatever positive emotion to your life? And we were so lucky to get several submissions, and we are going to share those today.
I was really excited about this. How one thing I noticed, I'm going to share later about the few that I got. It was really pretty interesting. But the first one, listener Trisha writes to us saying she has coffee on Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. while listening to the morning news before starting her work from home hybrid deal. She adds collagen, protein, and fiber to enhance her coffee with a dash of cinnamon to make it extra special. Then she says, making sure I get to my workout before noon. After work on a day it's nice out, sitting on my patio, upper and lower deck to relax and look at our beautiful surroundings with anyone that's around. And then number 5, she said, watching Mama Bunny helping create a safe nest for her newborns to make sure our golden doodle doesn't disturb them. Love watching and checking in on those babies. It's my nurturing instinct. Thank you, Trisha, for that submission. How wonderful that she elevates her morning and just finds the beauty in nature and then can kind of redefine her coffee to make it extra special.
Yes, I love that. Anything that connects us to nature, I love. And so the little baby bunny one particularly made me smile. So that's a great one. Thank you, Trisha. And I have one here from our listener, Barbara. And she says, I've pretty much done the same morning ritual for the past 30 years. It keeps me grounded, hopeful, and encouraged. Upon waking up, I turn on the coffee maker. I think we're going to hear a lot about coffee on these things. I enjoy my first cup of coffee in one of my favorite spaces. At this time of year, it's often in our sunroom when the weather is favorable. Otherwise, it's in my favorite chair in our family room, sometimes with a cozy blanket. I usually play some Christian music to get my mind and heart ready. Then I open my Bible or a devotional with scripture-related topics, and I spend time in prayer. When I don't have my time with the Lord, my day just doesn't go as well. So for me, this is the best way to start my day.
Oh, gosh, that's so touching. Really sweet. Thank you, Barbara. Oh, that's just delightful and just so motivating with that peace and encouragement and the way that she just feels grounded, like she said. That's
Yes,
so nice.
yes, for sure. And what did she say? She's been doing it for 30 years, right? That's a long time. And clearly it strikes a big chord in her heart for her to continue doing that for so long. So I love that one. Do you have another one to share?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Listener Molly writes, New York Times. Every morning, as soon as I wake up, I go downstairs and make my coffee. I always use beans and I always drink it black. I sit on the couch, drink my cup of coffee for the day, and do my New York Times puzzles, always in the same order: Wordle, connections, strands, and finally the mini. If my scores are any good, I send them to my sons in our group chat, and if they had any brag-worthy scores, they'll share them back, and then I start my day. But my favorite part of the New York Times puzzles is the Sudoku, and that is how I end the day. When I get into bed for the night, I do it before I put my phone down and roll over. I used to do it for time, but I eventually realized that it made more stressful and less enjoyable. So now I do it purely for the joy in solving it and don't worry about how long it takes. Bike riding. After work on most days, weather permitting, I ride my bike. I grab my helmet, fill my Camelback, put on my podcast, and set out on the same route. I enjoy the routine and the peacefulness and the familiarity with the route. I enjoy forgetting about work and other stresses in my life. It's just a feeling of freedom and a sense of belonging in that moment. When I ride with my husband or sons, they always want to head in a different direction, and that's okay. I save mine for when I ride alone. I started riding my bike during COVID when I needed to get out of the house. I wasn't able to ride very far at first, but I loved how it made me feel, and I eventually got up to around 15 miles in about an hour, and that's the perfect distance and the perfect time for me. It happens to be the length of my route.
Wow. I love that. If there's any brag-worthy
Yes.
scores, share those. That's great. What a great routine. And she's really engaging her mind first thing in the morning.
Yeah, right? I was really inspired. I thought I had to redesign my morning to include some puzzles for sure.
Right. Yes. Black coffee and puzzles. That's what jumped out at me for Molly. Thanks so much for sharing that, Molly. I love that.
Yes. What do you have, Kerri?
So the next one is from our friend and listener, Melissa. And she is coming about this a little bit from a work perspective. So this is what Melissa shares. I answered your questions as someone who owns her own communication consulting company. The Words That Move Me journal. At the end of each day or week, I jot down 1 or 2 moments where communication worked, whether it's mine or someone else's. Maybe it's a line from a speech that I wrote that got a standing ovation, a client email that said, "Your words gave me confidence." This ritual keeps me attuned to the power of language and helps me reconnect to why I do this work. Plus, it's a treasure trove of inspiration for future projects. How did this ritual start? It started on a particularly tough week when every draft I sent a client came back with edits, and nothing felt good enough. I was doubting myself hard. That Friday, I opened an old notebook and found a sticky note I'd saved years earlier. A client had written, "You made me sound like the leader I want to be." I realized how quickly I forget the wins, the moments when words really land. That night, I started a Words That Move Me journal to collect them as they happen. How does this ritual make me feel? Grounded, grateful. It reminds me that communication is about impact, not perfection, and those little proof points are fuel when the work feels thankless. How has it elevated me personally? It shifted my mindset from chasing the next big win to noticing the small ripples I create every day, and the quiet confidence spills over into how I pitch myself, how I encourage others, and even how I speak up in rooms. She shares a little story here. One evening, after a long day training a leadership team, I wrote in my journal. One participant stayed after and said, I came in thinking I'd never speak up at a board meeting. Now I can't wait to. The next morning, I reread it before heading to another client. Instead of feeling nervous, I felt proud and present because that one sentence reminded me exactly why I do what I do. Her second portion is called listening walks. I love this part. Once a week, I take a 30 to 60-minute walk without speaking, just listening to a podcast or simply to my own thoughts. As communicators, I'm always pushing words out. This is my time to intentionally take words and ideas in. It's grounding, it sharpens my awareness of tone and nuance, and it can be surprisingly joyful to let the world's stories wash over me for a while. How did it start? It was born out of burnout. I noticed I was spending all day talking, coaching clients, drafting speeches, answering emails, but rarely taking in fresh ideas or simply listening. One weekend, I left my headphones at home and went for a walk, just noticing snippets of conversations, bird song, the rhythm of the street. It felt meditative, and creative ideas started building up. It makes me feel alive, curious, connected to humanity. It quiets the inner critic and opens up space for inspiration to find me. She writes, on a walk last fall, I heard a little boy say to his dad, "But how do you know which stars to wish on?" I stopped in my tracks, smiling. Later that week, I used that line to open a keynote about the power of clear messaging. If you don't know which star to wish on, your audience won't either. That one overheard moment sparked the kind of opening that stuck with my audience and with me.
Amazing. Melissa, wow. I'm getting so many great ideas to redesign some of my own daily habits to turn them into some joyful rituals.
Yes. And I know exactly what Melissa means about on days when you forget your headphones or maybe your ear pods aren't charged. And so you have to go out naked with nothing in your ears. And it is a completely different experience. Just listening to the sounds that are around you. You and I both live a little bit away from the city, and so we get to hear lots of nature sounds. But yesterday, before I went to work, I took our little dog Ollie out into the sunroom, and the birds were tweeting. And because he can't see anymore, he likes to sit out there. And my only guess is that it feels comfortable temperature-wise, but also he can still hear the things going on. And I closed my eyes and was just listening to the birds too. And I do remember reading that there's something psychologically that happens to people when they hear bird song, because way back in the days when you're living outside, if the birds were tweeting, it meant all was well, right? Because if danger comes, they all fly away in a panic and there's no birds tweeting. But if the birds are singing and happy, then all is well. And I really did feel that. And I thought, oh, this would be a nice, joyful ritual to add before work, just taking a little time to sit with my puppy dog and listen to the birds sing.
Yes, I'm going to go outside and make sure I hear those birds tweeting. And then I guess you can just then say, all is well, and start your day. Oh, I like that very much. Well, I have one more. And listener Tracy writes, here are a few thoughts. But this exercise made me realize I need healthier rituals with a smiley face. Daily Diet Coke in the AM and then sitting in front of the computer. It's my coffee for the morning ritual to wake up, get grounded, and organize what I need to do for the day. Makes me feel organized and accomplished. My summer daily ritual, making my son lunch after practice. My husband says I baby him, but he is my baby, and I know soon enough he'll be gone. I'm going to start crying.
That line right there just hit all the mamas.
Right. Okay. Get it
Sure.
together, Meg. Get it together. He's so appreciative, and it makes me feel so good emotionally. I get to fuel him. Like last night, I made chicken and rice, and I knew he was going to be so excited to have some for lunch the next day. Our nightly ritual, we do watch TV together. Most nights, it's just my husband and I, and they cannot come out with enough series because we go through them so fast. But I look forward to it after dinner, and it's something we enjoy doing together. And when the kids are around, we have a series or two that we enjoy, like Marvel or Outdoor Extreme. And then there's also that new comedy, Stick, the new golf comedy with Owen Wilson. They say it's like Ted Lasso, but for golf. I don't think it's quite as good, so I suppose that's personalized. I enjoy having us all home, all together after our busy days. Weekly Mass is another one, but it's sometimes inconsistent because of our summer busy schedules. But I enjoy this so much that it makes me feel good spiritually and provides a good reset.
You know what I was thinking when I was listening to Tracy's rituals is she captures the entire point of what they're about, is just taking the time to slow down and notice the enjoyable parts of life. Right? I think that's the whole point to any ritual. Because otherwise we can zoom, zoom, zoom through our days and through our life. And it's taking that time to just slow down and pay attention to the people we love or the things we enjoy, whether it's our coffee or our Diet Coke or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
It's just taking that in and paying attention. I love that. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, everyone. What's your next one?
So my next one, this is from our friend and listener, Karen. She says, your question is timely, and I'll answer here for you. Rituals that are important to me. Number 1, making my bed every day. I don't sleep as well in an unmade bed. We've talked about this, Meg.
Yes.
It feels good that in my worst days, I can go to sleep in a bed that is neat and tidy. This ritual continues with my grown daughter. She has told me that she has to make her bed before leaving for work each day. It's like brushing her teeth. It's a given to do it. Number 2, she says, reading my prayers and meditation books. With morning decaf green tea, another ritual, I sit quietly and read my daily prayer from Living Faith. Also, a meditation from a book by Craig Bullock, who follows Christianity and Buddhism, and a few pages from a book by Pope Francis. Currently, it's Joy and Hope. I try to incorporate the readings as I go through my day. Easier said than done. The readings and tea help me to ease into the day. I need time to wake up, and this helps to center me. Number 3, every other Thursday. Oh, I love this one. Every other Thursday, I visit my grown grandson, Anthony, at the flooring store that he runs, which is a family-owned business. I bring a Starbucks coffee and enjoy catching up with him. He has matured into a smart, sensitive, and curious young man. I learn a lot from him, seeing the world through his eyes. And he asks me how I'm doing and for my opinion on things. He picks out online recipes, always a dessert, for me to make for him, and I enjoy baking for him. And baking is my go-to when I'm stressed. It helps me relax. And if I'm in a good mood, I want to bake for others. It's my happy place. Karen.
Oh, wow.
Right?
These, geez, are just, hey, if you're out walking with us in your ears, I hope you have a box of tissues with you, honestly, because I am really feeling all the feels. And one thing I've noticed, just to up to here, isn't it amazing that no one has said things that you're pulling your wallet out for?
Right.
Right? I mean, we're not going out and getting pedicures. We're not going to get the latest fashion or the makeup. All of these are about being with family or just out with nature.
Yeah.
Just to elevate your day. Oh.
Being present and really paying attention. Yeah, that's really it. Yep. I agree.
Amazing.
I do have one more. Do you have any more?
Just one little thing I will share, but no, go ahead. You go for it.
All right. So this was actually sent to me in an audio message, and I wish I could have played it. It's from our listener, Teresa. She says, well, Kerri, I think this is the best I can do if I'm trying to combine health with my home. Probably one of the most joyful, soothing rituals is Craig and I have our morning coffee on our blue couch. Okay, little side note here. Teresa has just one of the most colorful and delightful homes I've ever been in. It's just like so, it wraps your arms around you. Anyway, that's a little side note.
I like it.
It's a slow wake up. We get up early enough just before our appointments of the day, and we just have one, sometimes two big cups of coffee. Sometimes we just stare at our beautiful room, and other times we actually play the New York Times games. We play Wordle, New York Times Connections, and the mini crosswords. And that's just how we've been starting our day. Another one that we've started is to buy flowers once a week, and it just adds color and newness, and it's like giving yourself flowers each week, and there's nothing better than that. Third, I would say, is I do a meditative and restorative yoga pose every afternoon back in our living room. Either I'm in the blue couch or on the floor with pillows and bolsters and things like that. So those would be my top 3 rituals. The fourth thing is that I make my coffee and I walk around the neighborhood, and I find I love this for the circadian rhythm reset. I make sure to take my glasses off so I can see the light, not through my glasses. And it's just great. I don't know the word, but it just lifts my spirit every day, and I find it's really helping with my sleep.
Wow.
I have heard that.
Wait, tell me how she's outside when she takes the glasses off?
Yes, which I would start running into trees if I did that. That would not be good for me. She just wants the light to come into her eyes now.
Yeah.
Filter.
I have heard that. I definitely too have
Yes.
definitely heard that. That's
And she's
wonderful.
being a little modest because she is a yoga instructor. So
Oh,
that's
Teresa.
yes, that's a huge part of her identity.
I'd like how she said she's combining. I mean, how sweet that she really thought of redesigning health and home.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the blue couch and then the yoga poses.
Right?
That's really sweet and thoughtful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because I can see you and I can see your big, beautiful windows behind you, Teresa's home has similar kind of windows with the natural wood frame around them and the trees in the back. Oh, it's just such a beautiful setting. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, very nice. She said something in there that struck a chord with me and almost made me cry because it brought back a memory. One of the things that Teresa mentioned in her joyful rituals was the getting the flowers once a week. And it reminded me, my dad used to do that for my mom, get her, he was on like a subscription thing that they would just automatically send like this beautiful bouquet once a week. And at the time, my mom had home care coming in to help her, and they were just blown away. They were like, "You are so spoiled." And sometimes last week's flowers were still beautiful, and the new week's flowers would come in. They thought that she was pretty lucky. My dad, he did treat my mom like a queen. So,
Oh my gosh.
that reminded me of
Fabulous.
that. Hint,
Yeah.
hint, 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 husbands.
Yeah.
Where are those
Fresh
flowers?
flowers, right? Or flowers outside. Just the colorful flowers are amazing.
For sure.
Thank you, Teresa. Yes. And thank you, Kerri, for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Sweet memory and sweet just gesture that your dad did for your beautiful mother. Yes. Well, I've been thinking, just going back to when we interviewed Whitney English about her new book, one of the little snippets that we posted to promote that episode was a quote from her book. And she specifically had a whole section in her book about rituals. And she writes, while systems provide the structure and routines guide the daily steps, rituals are the special touches that bring deeper meaning to our lives. And I can feel that in all of our listeners' submissions, that they are taking their 24-hour day and trying to plug in these peaceful, joyful rituals.
Yes.
Moments that they've increased with their dash of specialness. One thing that I really like to do, and this is again, nothing special, but you take a shower and I have this tiny little speaker and I will put on massage music or spa music and I'll bring that little speaker into the bathroom, and just my daily regular shower now is luxurious. And I'm not adding any fancy soaps. I'm still showering regular, but just the sense of that grounding, like our listeners have talked about, just the sense of calm and deep breath. It just, we can redefine so many things in our life, health and home, to make it just a little bit more special.
And I can imagine that just a tweak like that, where you engage one of your senses, right? So for you, it's sound. Normally, maybe when you're in your shower, if you didn't have that, you might be thinking about, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and the to-do list, and oh, I need to call so-and-so. But just by engaging one or more of the senses all of a sudden, right? Like listening to the birds or listening to your spa music, it a little bit pulls you away from your mind on that hamster wheel. And, I don't know if it's the same for guys. I've never been a guy, but, for women, like we all talk about it, how our mind is doing 27 things. We say to the guys, what are you thinking about? And they say, nothing. And my husband's like, we really do mean that. By the way, it's nothing. And I was like, how? Like, how? Because I've got 90 things going through my head. So anyway, yeah.
You are so right. And Kerri, you have reminded us through can you believe we're on 27 episodes of Redesigning Health and Home?
Right? Isn't that crazy? 27.
Yay. Thank you all so much for listening. But going back, Kerri has done such a beautiful job reminding us of our senses throughout our home, even, the health and these joyful rituals. So we're hoping that you are all inspired to maybe, elevate or redesign just some little daily habit that you're doing. We'd love to hear more from many of our listeners. If you want to comment or shoot us an email at redesigninghealthandhome@gmail.com. We would love to get your submissions and get your creative ideas so we can share them. Maybe we can do a whole nother episode about these joyful rituals that you're all enjoying. But that is so much fun. Thank you to my crew, Trisha, Molly, and Tracy.
And to my crew, Barb, Melissa, Karen, and Teresa. Thank you so much for your submissions. They were awesome to read to our listeners.
Yes, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. On this week's episode, I want to give a special shout out to my partner in podcast, Meg. Meg, you've made this so much fun for the two of us. I'm learning a ton, and you're always so patient and so excited and so kind. And I couldn't have chosen a better partner in all of the world. So I really appreciate you. And here's to a bunch more podcasts, Meg. Looking forward to it. The topics discussed on Redesigning Health and Home are for entertainment purposes only. We are not physicians and we are not counselors. So please just enjoy this as it's intended to be, which is for entertainment purposes only.
Thanks for listening to the Redesigning Health and Home podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would love for you to like, share, and follow along so you can catch us on all future episodes. You can find me, Meg, at Fit, Fed, Feeling Good on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find me, Kerri, on my website at homestylewithkerri.com and on Instagram and Facebook at homestylewithkerri. That's Kerri. And you can find both of us at Redesigning Health and Home on Instagram and Facebook. So join us next time for more inspiration on creating a home and a lifestyle that truly supports your best health.